With the apparent discontinuation of both the Casio A168 and the F105, I thought this would be the best time to give you an up-to-date review of these watches. I will also compare these side by side, and whether or not you should give in and purchase these watches while you still can, if you haven't already. I won't bore you with the dimensions for either watch, so we'll get this done now so I can then focus on their looks, features, and wearability. You can pause the video if you need to. Starting with the A168, this classic digital watch has been around for a very long time, well, not this specific one anyway. With the original design's debut in 1995, that was 30 years ago, believe it or not, it has since been one of the most popular and affordable digital watches on the market. When I caught the digital Casio fever earlier this year, and when the A168 first tempted me, I was hooked on getting the original, that is, until I saw this blue variant. Those of you who have watched my videos before will understand why I got this one instead. Though the face of this variant is of course different, and also with a negative display, lacking the classic looks that makes the original A168 so iconic. It is still an A168, and some of you might even prefer this, with its shiny and reflective blue face surrounding the display, which almost shifts nicely from dark blue to light blue depending on lighting conditions, and the multiple other variants that are available to suit many people's taste and preferences. So no matter which A168 you choose, arguably the core of the watch remains the same. You have the usual features: an auto calendar, stopwatch, daily alarm, a battery life officially rated for 7 years, basic splash-proof water resistance, and of course the electro-luminescent backlight, which is really the main reason why these watches are getting discontinued. More on the electro-luminescence and discontinuation later. The stainless steel bracelet is usual for this type of digital Casio, but I've never had any complaints, as it's easy enough to adjust and wears comfortably on my 6.5-inch wrist. I believe the one I have here, although less classic looking, is a cleaner design overall. The face feels less cluttered and more modern, which to me is then more suitable for both casual and semi-formal occasions, but will of course depend on your personal taste. Then there is of course the electro-luminescent backlight. From what I've seen, it really does shine on the original A168, where it is more subtle in this variant due to the negative display, but it still significantly helps with reading the time in dim lighting or in the dark. In fact, this would be a great time now to compare the electro-luminescent backlights of this A168 and of the F105, then I'll focus on the latter before reeling it back together. So this is what I mean by the difference. As you can see, the F105 is much brighter because of how it's displayed, but they both still fulfill its purpose. If this is important to you, then I would recommend avoiding the negative display version. It's one of these nice little features that you almost want to make any excuse to press that backlight button, particularly at night. Even better still if you have a legitimate reason why you might need this backlight, such as jobs doing night shifts or out camping at night. Now, the F105 is also a classic. Having been first released in the late 1990s, this is yet another incredibly popular watch throughout the years. You can treat this watch almost like one of the F91's bulkier older siblings, though not that much bulkier. Its resin case and strap feel great, comfortable, easy to wear, and the size fits my wrist well. The features are all the same as with many of Casio's digital watches. Now, why would someone go for the F105 over the A168 if they had to choose one? The F105 is more rugged and can take more of a beating. You could probably take this out hill walking or camping and not really worry about it. These types of Casio watches were made for the outdoors and to last. The A168, however, and my version in particular, with its shiny and reflective blue face that stands out, leans more, I would say, towards looks. You would look at wearing something nice, colour match or contrast that outfit by wearing a watch like this to complete the look, or indeed with any of the other colours and designs available. What stands out in addition to the electroluminescent backlight to me is the design of the face of the watch, keeping up with the blue theme I love so much. This is definitely something you would wear more casually on days out, and will certainly be less prone to scratches than the shiny metallic looking finish that is really resin on the A168, though protecting both faces is acrylic, so scratch resistance is pretty much non-existent. So look after them, partly because they're being discontinued. Speaking of which, what does that really mean? My immediate thoughts when I heard this were that it's too late to get these watches again, or if I don't act now, I'll never be able to get one. But actually, it would make sense that there is still stock available at the time this video is published. With these watches being so popular, there will be loads still left to sell for a period of time, but of course, this is also depending on where you are. Although the F105 is getting increasingly harder to find in the UK, it's only truly worth it if you get it for the right price. So why are they discontinuing them? Well, the electroluminescent feature itself is getting discontinued, and therefore, by extension, the watches that have them. This feature is not only expensive to produce or manufacture, but the backlight itself supposedly will fade over a period of time, something in the thousands of hours of use, which is a lot to be fair, but still making it dimmer than when you first purchased it. Also, it consumes a lot more energy than LEDs, making LEDs a much more efficient and cost-effective option. All this makes sense. In fact, I would say this is the norm anyway, from the Casio Royale, the A700, and of course to G-Shocks. So why get any of these watches? Simply put, there are too many positives that to me far outweigh the negatives here between whether or not you should get these. They're cheap, reliable, comfortable, and a joy to wear. These are nice pieces to even just collect, because why not? It would be pretty nice to show your future grandchildren just how things were back in the day. That being said, I can't imagine the F91W ever being discontinued, so you could just show them that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've made it to the end, subscribe for more watch content, and it would really help my channel as well, and I'll see you on the next one.